5 seconds, that's all it takes for the world to feel suddenly unfamiliar, for a heart to ache in silence. I am Dr. A.B., psychiatrist, medical doctor, and researcher of human psychology. Today, I invite you to step into the mind of someone whose life has just shifted, whose inner world trembles under the weight of emotional rupture. She sits in the quiet of her apartment, dim light spilling across the floor, painting shadows that stretch like memories she cannot release. Her breath is shallow, the kind that flickers with the nervous pulses of the brain. Dopamine, the subtle thread that once guided reward and motivation, has plummeted, leaving ordinary pleasures hollow, the steam of morning coffee, a familiar song, even the soft breeze through the open window. Nothing reaches her. Serotonin, that gentle sculptor of mood and sleep, falters. Nights stretch long and fragmented. Appetite vanishes. The body feels heavy, the mind fogged, the heart tender to everything it encounters. Norepinephrine surges unpredictably. Alertness turns sharp and anxious, stress threads running like invisible currents through her veins. Thoughts race. What if? Why? Maybe. Hands tremble as she lifts a mug, as if every movement carries the weight of her emotions. Outside, rain taps rhythmically against the window. Inside, the space hums with absence, echoes of laughter, fragments of a name. She watches her reflection, sees a shadowed stranger. The mind catalogues its grief in chemical language. Dopamine down, serotonin unbalanced, norepinephrine sharp. Her body reacts before her mind can process. She smiles too late, laughs too early, the motions of life mechanical, hollow. Yet even in the fracture, a soft hum begins. It is small, imperceptible, almost mistaken for imagination, a hint of survival. Breathing pauses briefly, a tiny recognition, maybe she will endure. Acetylcholine stirs quietly, guiding the synapses, mapping memory and muscle in preparation for adaptation. Glutamate flickers, excitatory sparks encouraging the brain to learn, to reorganize, to remember. She traces the edge of an old photograph. Pain whispers, but so does the soft echo of possibility. For a moment, she simply feels, not sorrow, not longing, just awareness. Muscles unclench, eyes close. The mind, like soil, begins its subtle cultivation. Tiny seeds of resilience lie dormant. The next days are quiet revolutions. Healing is never abrupt. It is not a bloom overnight, but petals unfurling in the cold earth. Some mornings are numb, others fogged, but slowly awareness deepens. Dopamine returns in measured increments. The small thrill of sunlight on skin, the fleeting comfort of a remembered laugh. GABA tempers anxiety, slowing racing thoughts. Glutamate and acetylcholine collaborate, embedding new memories, retraining emotional responses. She sits in a cafe, noticing strangers, their laughter, their hurried steps, their silent burdens. She feels kinship, not connection with one person, but with humanity itself. She does not cling, she observes, catalogues, accepts. Nights become gentler. Histamine regulates attention, sleep cycles normalize. The hum of serotonin steadies. Small pleasures, previously imperceptible, gain color again. She whispers to herself, I am not the person I was, yet I am becoming someone. Pain remains, but it no longer dictates rhythm. Steps are deliberate, meals are tasted, laughter, quiet and true, returns. Silence is no longer feared. Each day she cultivates herself with care, acceptance, self-awareness, memory, intention. Shoots of resilience break through soil, subtle yet persistent. And one evening, as twilight spills across the room, she closes her eyes and smiles. Dopamine hums gently, serotonin steadies, GABA soothes, acetylcholine and glutamate sustain memory and learning, norepinephrine balances alertness without panic, histamine supports focus. She rises and steps outside. The air is vivid, the world is broad. She breathes, fully, intentionally, and alive. The morning sunlight enters her room differently now, softer, warmer, almost cautious. She does not notice it at first, but her mind registers it. Dopamine stirs, not in wild bursts, but in measured glimmers of curiosity and anticipation. She stretches, muscles guided by acetylcholine, remembering the gentle memory of movement, the rhythm of breath paired with a subtle pulse of life returning. Thoughts arrive, not frantic, not jagged, but layered, reflective. She begins to notice patterns in her mind, the ways her emotions twist around memories, fears, and expectations. Norepinephrine still sparks occasionally, but now it carries clarity instead of panic, alertness without tension. The mind begins to observe itself. She pauses before reacting, feels the surge of adrenaline, acknowledges it, then lets it pass. This is the beginning of self-awareness, the deliberate recognition that thought is separate from action, feeling from identity. Memories flicker, soft and fragmented. Glutamate fires gently, linking new insights with old experiences. She recalls times she felt joy, sorrow, disappointment, triumph, all intertwined. There is no judgment, only observation. The pain of loss no longer dominates, it coexists with small victories, the ability to smile without forcing it, to breathe without anxiety, to sit with herself without fleeing. Her body becomes a partner in this subtle reconstruction. Acetylcholine coordinates movement, awareness and memory. She notes how walking, stretching, even washing dishes connects body and mind. GABA tempers the occasional tremor of unease. Its inhibitory calm, smoothing jagged edges of thought. Sleep comes more easily now, and with it, serotonin stabilizes, mood balances, appetite slowly returns. Even the mundane begins to hold value. The hum of a refrigerator, the rustle of leaves outside, the warmth of tea against her palms. She writes, hesitates, erases, writes again. Thoughts crystallize on the page, fragments of emotion made tangible. The act of writing becomes a mirror of her mind's reconstruction. Dopamine rewarding each small act, glutamate reinforcing the lessons learned. She reads passages aloud, hearing the cadence of her voice, recognizing the strength in stillness, the courage in simply acknowledging herself. Interactions with others shift subtly. Conversations are no longer a performance, a mask to hide the tremors inside. She listens actively, letting words land, noticing subtle cues, the tilt of a head, a fleeting expression. Her empathy deepens, not as sacrifice, but as understanding. Neurochemistry assists, serotonin supports mood regulation, GABA tempers internal tension. Dopamine provides satisfaction in connection. She is present, grounded, capable of response rather than reaction. The mind's quiet labor continues. She meditates, eyes closed, noticing the subtle rise and fall of breath. Acetylcholine and glutamate work to embed these neural pathways. GABA soothes. Histamine maintains alertness without strain. Emotional waves arrive, and she meets them fully. Grief, nostalgia, hope, without resistance. They ebb naturally, leaving her more aware, more whole. She begins to recognize triggers, memories of loss, moments of fear, times of self-doubt. Instead of being overwhelmed, she catalogues and anticipates them. Norepinephrine alerts her to danger, but now with clarity, not panic. She consciously chooses responses, reinforcing new neural pathways with glutamate-driven learning. The mind, once a battlefield, becomes a workshop, reconstructing cognition, emotion, and behavior. Evening descends. She watches the horizon, noticing the play of colors. Dopamine hums gently, rewarding awareness and presence. Serotonin steadies her mood, preparing the mind for rest. Histamine maintains focus long enough for reflection, then eases attention toward winding down. GABA ensures calm. Acetylcholine links memory with insight. Glutamate supports learning from each experience. A soft smile emerges, not from triumph over pain, but from recognition of growth. She is learning to inhabit herself fully, to engage with life deliberately, to meet emotional waves with awareness instead of fear. Inner strength rises quietly, almost imperceptibly, yet undeniably. The night arrives, calm but alert. She journals, reflects and breathes. Tomorrow will bring challenges, but the mind is no longer reactive. It is resilient. Dr. A.B. would call this the careful orchestration of neural and emotional processes, the mind learning, the heart healing, the self discovering its own capacity to endure and thrive. And as she closes her eyes, she whispers not a plea, but an acknowledgement. I am learning to be whole. I am learning to feel, to grow, to exist fully. Dopamine, serotonin, GABA, acetylcholine, glutamate, norepinephrine, histamine. Each quietly hums in harmony, supporting the next chapter of her transformation. The morning arrives differently now. There is no rush, no trembling under the weight of unseen burdens. Dopamine hums softly, not as a frantic chase for reward, but as quiet pleasure in ordinary life. Sunlight spilling across the floor, the scent of brewed coffee, the rhythm of her own heartbeat. Serotonin steadies mood and appetite, whispering calm through the corridors of her mind. She inhales deeply, aware of the balance that has taken root inside her. Evenings are no longer a battle with shadows. GABA ensures that anxiety does not claim the night. Norepinephrine, once a messenger of stress and panic, now signals clarity, alertness, and readiness. Acetylcholine coordinates memory and movement, connecting past lessons with present choices. Glutamate reinforces learning, linking experience with growth. Histamine maintains a gentle attention, enough to notice beauty without strain. She walks through the park, noticing children laughing, the rustle of leaves, the soft cadence of distant footsteps. Every detail is vibrant. She allows herself to feel without judgment, without resistance. Grief arrives sometimes unannounced, a ripple in calm waters. But now she does not fight it. She watches it pass, knowing that emotional waves do not define her, they inform her. In the mirror, she sees herself clearly for the first time in months. The reflection is familiar, yet transformed. Eyes softer, posture steadier, expression measured yet alive. She smiles without effort. She does not attempt to mask her feelings, she simply allows them. Emotional authenticity, once a distant ideal, is now woven into the fabric of her daily life. Dopamine rewards these small acts of self-acceptance. Serotonin keeps the mind balanced. GABA whispers calm when tension stirs. Connections with others deepen naturally. She listens actively, speaks with clarity, and engages fully without clinging or fear. Joy, once elusive, emerges in small doses, a shared laugh, a quiet conversation, the unhurried touch of a friend. Each moment reinforces neural pathways of reward and connection, with dopamine and serotonin guiding pleasure and mood. She recognizes that true emotional healing is not a sudden transformation, but a patient, deliberate practice. Journaling becomes ritual. Words flow freely, mapping thoughts, feelings and insights. Acetylcholine and glutamate collaborate, embedding memory and facilitating learning. She notices triggers, reminders of past pain, yet they no longer derail her. Awareness replaces reaction. Resilience, once fragile, is now steady. Each wave of emotion is met with mindfulness, patience, and understanding. She pauses at a cafe window, observing the world. Strangers pass, carrying invisible burdens. She feels kinship, not pity, a recognition of shared humanity. Her mind, once fractured by loss, now embraces connection, empathy, and presence. Dopamine rewards curiosity and engagement. Serotonin stabilizes mood. GABA maintains calm. Even small interactions are nourishing. The night falls gently. She sits quietly, reflecting on the journey. Neurochemistry orchestrates her internal symphony. Dopamine for pleasure, serotonin for balance, GABA for calm, glutamate and acetylcholine for memory and learning, norepinephrine for clarity, histamine for attentive wakefulness. Her mind and heart are integrated, aligned and resilient. She whispers softly, "I am whole, I am growing, I am present." The pain of the past remains, but it no longer dictates the rhythm of life. It is a teacher, a guide, not a master. Emotional healing is neither linear nor sudden, it is continuous, like a river carving valleys over time, persistent and transformative. As she rises to leave, she carries this quiet strength into the world. Steps are deliberate, breath is calm, awareness is deep. She is ready to engage with life fully, with clarity, authenticity, and resilience. And as you listen to this journey, remember, emotional healing is possible, deliberate, and beautiful. If this story touched you even a little, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Psych Key, so more hearts can begin their quiet, transformative healing.